Welcome to the Brandon Beard Show. So glad to have you here. It's another episode. We got some good stuff for you today. First off, I just want to thank, if you heard the intro, Elon, Mr. Beast, and the gang. They come running when I ask them for an endorsement. That's totally not AI or anything like that. If you're wondering. Anyway, a lot's happened the past couple weeks. I was somewhat of a speaker at South by Southwest. I'll talk about that on the next episode. What really came up for me this week is I want to talk about if I had to start over again and I'm 25, what would I do? How would what would I do differently? What mistakes would I not make this time? So and you don't have to be 25 to get anything out of this. If you are at a point where you're approaching or at a fork in the road in your life, you're getting ready to start a big project or you're starting a big thing in your career and, some big decisions are coming, it's going to speak to you no matter what age you are. Okay. I think 25 is just a helpful way to frame the conversation. So before that, what is this show? If you're new here, who the hell am I? Why am I here? This show is basically the point of view of someone who is a techno optimist, futurist. My take, that's me. On lifestyle freedom, so you can live a great life while you're making your dreams a reality. So making your dreams happen, living a great life while you're doing it. I talk about art and the business of being an entertainer in 2025, just because that's what I do. This whole show is just about, it's for anyone who's trying to build a self-employed lifestyle, an entrepreneurial lifestyle, so they can do something big in their life. And it's going to be all the things that are going to matter to you in that situation. So travel, lifestyle design, wealth building, what's happening in the world, life in Austin, because that's where I am, comedy, all that stuff. If you're not a showmaker or making some kind of online media in some way, that's okay. But it's just all from someone who is focused on maximum freedom in life with an optimistic bent, because there's too much negativity these days, and I'm sick of it. So that's the point of view I'm taking. I hope that makes sense. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the topic today. What to do if I was 25? So if you want to start a career as an entertainer or anyone who wants to get serious about pursuing your dream, this is for you. First off, the obligatory grandfather paradox disclosure here. Of course, I can't go back and send this episode to my 25-year-old self. Even though I'm recording it for that reason, I wish I could, but I can't, because if I did that, then we face the grandfather paradox, which is you can't go back and kill your grandfather in the past because then you would never be born. Likewise, I can't go back and give this message in a bottle to my younger self and become a different person and prevent myself from learning all the lessons that I learned to get to this point to where I would want to go back in time and give this message to my younger self. So I can't do that. But you may be able to. Your future isn't written yet from this point forward. So you can take this, use it, take the parts that speak to you, and make your dreams happen, okay? If you're 25, if you're 30, if you're 35, whatever, it doesn't matter. Take what resonates, leave the rest. So, and I'm going to kind of speak in the way that I'm talking to my 25-year-old self, but I'm also really talking to you. And this is ultimately for you more than it is to my past self. Okay, so I would say this first off. I'm in my low 40s right now. So, oh, Jesus. Keep that in mind. To my 25-year-old self, I would say you will want the same things when you're 40 that you want now. So trust those things and take them seriously. Those things you really want, that dream you have for yourself, it will not change. It will only get harder to do, and it will only get more and more buried under crap that isn't real the more you ignore it. So if it was something you wanted when you were 20 and now you're 25 and you still want it, you're going to want it forever, even if you lie to yourself later in life and say that you don't. And I would say this going forward, to the extent that you're not living the life you want, you're not making your dreams happen, it's because of the role that shame and fear and self-doubt are getting in the way. It's all in between your ears. It's all inside your head, the things that are preventing you from being who you want to be. It's not the external world. It's not an external circumstance in any way. Like, shame, when I say shame, that's just the belief that, you're a mess up. You're a screw up. You're bad for some reason. That is powerful, but it's not true. So don't listen to it, okay? Keep going. And whenever you find yourself like in a rut, you're not moving forward, it's because you're feeling that shame or that fear of success or just doubts about yourself that aren't real. So you have to really look at those. So know that that's going on. I would say this: feel everything. Coming from a family of people who don't talk about their feelings, who don't express those things, when you don't talk about your feelings, when you don't acknowledge them, just acknowledging them yourself, they bottle up, they build up. So feel everything, okay? When you're going through heartbreak, when you're going through a difficult time, good times, whatever it is, allow yourself to really just feel what's going on inside of you. You can tolerate it. It's uncomfortable, but that is super important because you do that and it just enables you to be more connected with who you are, what you want, and you're able to navigate the tough times more easily. All right. So when I was 25, I was working at the Cubicle Farm financial company in Jacksonville. I would say this: I had just gotten a promotion. I had just gotten like the best role that I could want in that company, which was like being a trainer, a teacher, teaching all of our employees, from new hires on up to sales and stuff. That was a good get for me. I would say, to me specifically, stay in that role for another year. You're getting paid dog shit money, but this role is really good experience because it's in line with what you want to do. So hang in there. But beyond that year, go and take a different job. Start applying for jobs. I don't know, 8-9 months from now, and so that you have one in a year, something that makes twice as much. I mean, I was making like $46,000 a year in this role, which is, back then in the late aughts, it was very little then. It is dog shit now. I would say, looking back, I know I could have applied myself. I had a master's degree in business. I could have taken the time to find a job that paid twice as much. And I didn't. I stuck with that one job way too long. I don't even know why. I think we all can be guilty of that. Just complacency, sticking in that job until you just can't take it anymore. And then you have to everything, you just have to pull the ejector seat and it's a big mess. Don't let that happen. Take the new job, find any job. It doesn't matter. What matters is the balance between the hours you put in and what you get paid. I don't care if it's aligned with my skill set at that point. It's just giving you a good balance of lifestyle, cost of living, lifestyle, and income. Okay. Why is that important? Because it's super important that you have the means and the income and that support and stability to know that you can live the full life that you want to live in your 20s. All right. You don't need to go work at an investment bank and work 80 hours a week and make six figures. If I could have made $80,000, $75,000 a year at a decent job that didn't dominate my time, and believe it or not, some of the shittier, lower paying jobs are the more demanding ones. So find one that allows you to just be able to travel, to be able to go have experiences, hang out with your friends, go on weekend trips, go to a different country. And it removes that like financial worry. Go on dates, all that stuff. All right. Get yourself a job. Now, like I know some people might be saying, oh, you're so privileged. Like you couldn't, yeah, easy for you to say you had a master's degree. I'm saying that principle applies to anybody. Okay. Don't be complacent. You can always get a better job that pays more, that has more flexibility. Just prioritize it. Prioritize that flexibility in some way. Okay. Okay. So that's what I would do. So that's kind of like a 2-year plan there. Now, the next thing I would do, we got to get the foundational stuff right. Go into therapy and start going to therapy now. I would say go into a therapist who knows somatic experiencing. And then you do that. But any therapy, will any therapy do? I think somatic experiencing works best. But, just get started in the therapy train. Then, personally, for me, I would say, and you do that for a year and then start doing MDMA therapy. All right. Which really did a lot for me. And it was something that I think I heard about years before I finally did it. I didn't need to wait that long, especially nowadays. So do that. All right. Just go start talking to a therapist, and then don't do the MDMA stuff right away, because that just unlocks so much stuff that it's like getting on a rocket ship. So if you're not ready for that, it's mind crazy. Now, that's different than doing MDMA at a music fest or something like that. You don't get the same depth of insight. So we're in our 20s. We're doing the basics here. Okay. We're doing that. Start building and this is not medical advice, by the way. This is just what I'm saying to myself. Start building your own audience now. I knew back then I wanted to be in media in some way. And I would say start making content, create a YouTube channel, create a podcast, whatever it is. Do it in a way that works for you, that you can do it consistently, but not burn yourself out. Don't put the pressure of success on it yet. Just start putting out content at a good pace. Don't worry if you miss a week. What's more important is that over the course of a year, maybe you put out 35 shows instead of 55. If you can do more, great. Do not burn yourself out. Build an audience, very specific audience around something. The easiest thing is your point of view in the world, or a mission you have, or something that you want to do, in your own life and career. Make the content somewhat specific to that, and talk to your audience. Figure out what they need. Okay, that's all you got to do. Don't worry about money yet. Just do that. Then build skills that you'll need anyway as your own content creator. Or if you're not trying to build the show, whatever you're trying to go into, and if you don't have those skills yet, you can build skills in 6 weeks, 8 weeks for sure. So start building those things that you're going to need anyway, and then offer those to whoever will pay the most. So what I'm saying is, you're building a show. Hopefully that's going to become some kind of a way of, a basis of a business for you. But right now, because that was my interest, was making shows, that's what I'm doing. That's something that's going to be fulfilling for me. Then what I would do is I would take those skills that I'm going to need in that show making business anyway, and then once I have them, sell those services to people who I know will pay. All right. So I don't have to merge the show and the business and the income yet, but I can anyway. Because what I can do is, now I'm finding a way very slowly. I have a job. I'm not worried about money, that I can build a decent income, maybe $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month, in 10 hours per week of spare time. So now I've kind of got something there where this is going to be my budding business, my budding means of self-employment down the road, that I don't have to rush. But I'm going to get it to the point where when I'm finally ready to quit that second job, so I'm staying in my job for a year. If you hate your job that you're in now, start applying to other jobs right now. All right, you don't have to stay in your job for a year. But that second job that provides me some level of financial, lifestyle freedom, um, I'm going to want to do for a year, and I'm building up this side thing so that when I get to that year, that I can, maybe I'm not making a full-time living from my side hustle, but I'm at the point where I know I can, once I get more time in the week back, I can flip that switch. And in 10 more hours a week, so like 20 hours per week total, I'm making 10,000 plus a month. Okay. So that's what I'm working towards money wise. Now, I am so big on entrepreneurship and self-employment. Why, Brandon, are you telling me to get another job or stick with a job? Because in your 20s, it's good to work with other people. You don't know what you don't know. So it's good to get a job. Not just, don't listen to people who say, oh, you should, even if you're going to hate it, you should know what you hate. No, it's just good experience to work with other people in a corporate team environment. Maybe you really end up liking your job. You're still going to want to leave it because you're going to want maximum freedom in your life. But it's important to have that. It's the easiest way in your 20s to make a paycheck and not worry about money. And it does teach you what you don't want if you don't like your job, but it's valuable. So I think having that for a little while is good. When you leave the first job and go into the second job, take 6 weeks off. Do it. Travel. Go to other countries. Backpack through Asia. Don't wait. Do that while you're young. It's the best time to do it. Okay, now, so that's the plan, right? I'm 25. That's the plan. We're doing these things. I'm building. I've got my job. I've got my side income I'm kind of working on. I've got my side project for me. That's podcasting. That's ultimately going to be the long-term thing that I want to do. I'm going to therapy. I'm working on the fundamental mindset stuff. None of this needs to be in a rush. Okay, great. That is a great plan. A couple years down the road, I do this. I am in great shape. I'm set up for success. Now, because I'm 25, I'm going to take this plan. My next advice is this. Take this plan, put it in a safe for 5 years, because you're not going to do any of this because you're a 25-year-old bozo idiot and you're just not ready for all this yet. That's what I would say, okay, to myself at least. And that's fine. You're in your 20s. Go party, go make mistakes, go do things, trips with your friends, all that stuff, whatever is important to you, because you are a man child at age 25. You are not an adult. You are not a child. So it's okay not to do this stuff yet. All right. Just you figure things out. So that's it. Now, here's the real advice. 5 years have passed. Now you're 30. All right. Now you're ready. You have done you've gotten all that stupid, immature stuff out in your 20s, out of your system. You did it. You had fun. Now you've turned 30. Okay. So now I'm speaking to you or myself, maybe at age 30 and a half. Okay. You've already turned 30. Being 30 is your first test, your first taste of oh, I'm getting old. I haven't accomplished the things I wanted to do in my life. Oh my God, it's over. I'm 30. I've fucked up, blown it. No, you haven't. You are still barely an adult. You have so much time. Don't worry what you haven't accomplished at age 30, but you've fallen out of the tree of life a little bit, and you've been smacked by some branches on the way down enough to where you're humbled. You have a better idea of who you are, what you want, what's wrong with you, and what to fix. So all of that advice I just gave you at age 25, it's really better when you're at age 30 plus, because all of that stuff's going to resonate more, and you've had your third life crisis. So this whole episode so far, I said it was really to my 25-year-old self. It is, but he's not going to listen. It's to my 30-year-old self. Here's the specific 30-year-old advice I would give to myself. It's just one or two things. It's really just one thing, okay? Do not buy that house. All right. You're 30, you're not married, you don't have any kids, you have some means now, you have the money, you've probably progressed in a couple of jobs. So you have that like ability to live the lifestyle that you wanted when you were in your 20s. Don't buy a house. I bought a house when I turned 30, and I loved that house so much. It was so great. I bought it at the ideal time, which is not 2025. But that house became a second job. I bought a 100-year-old house in New Orleans that had been recently renovated, but oh my God, the bones of that house were rotten and it needed a lot of work. And that house cost me way more time than I thought. I didn't get a dog, thankfully. I was real close to getting a dog. Don't get a dog. You need maximum freedom. So don't do anything that's going to hold you back. So that's all I would really say different to my 30-year-old self. Rent. You want a house? You want a yard? You can have rent. Rent a house. Don't buy a house. All right? You don't need that. You do not need that until you are married with kids and you're trying to build a nest. You're trying to build a lifestyle for yourself and your family. All right. With all that being said, if you need money quick, so ideally we're doing all this in a very unhurried way. If you need money quick, at age 30, you have skills now at this point enough where you can make a living using those skills, selling them to somebody. Now, I know for me at that point, I had already been doing YouTube and podcasts. Had I podcasted yet? No. But I had YouTube skills and I could have sold those to people who needed them. So, and if you don't have those skills, again, 6 to 8 weeks, you can have the skills that you want. But the key on those skills is they need to be, don't start a side hustle or a side income based on your current career if it's not something you want to continue. If I know I hate my job and my career and I'm going to build something on the side so that I can leave it and have a better lifestyle and I never want to do this stuff again, you might be very good at it. Don't build a dream. You can't build a dream from something you don't want. So don't build that dream income from those skills. Figure out where you want to go. If you don't have the skills yet, it's fine. If you want to go into podcasting, say, learn how to be a podcaster. Whatever it is you're aspiring towards, figure out those skills and figure out a service that's related to those things that you can offer somebody, even if you don't have them yet. The reason is because it has to motivate the shit out of you. You have to, if it's going to be something you're building, something you're moving towards, it needs to be super, super motivating. Otherwise, you'll burn out, you'll quit. So don't do that. Okay, but I'm talking about if you need money quick. So here's the easiest way. You ready? Find people you want to make connections with. Figure out an area you're super motivated to learn in, move towards. Offer a high ticket service to people who can pay in that area. And then let somebody else fulfill that service. That's it. Build a service, sell it to people who can pay, and let somebody else fulfill it. That's literally it. That's the drop ship method to life. You're going to be focused on the relationship building, the oversight, but you're not fulfilling it every day, which makes it scalable. Yes, it is not bullshit. You can do that. You're still responsible for the business, but you're not doing the day in and day out work in it. That's being an entrepreneur. That's what you need to do if you want to build something scalable. And you can do that very quickly. You can do it quickly because you don't need the skill. You just need to find somebody else on Upwork or somewhere that has the skill, let them fulfill it, and you just lead. A couple of notes on all that. It's 2025. So AI is such an advantage right now because so many companies and people still don't realize the benefits of it. So you can use AI. You can become an AI consultant for companies or businesses, or use it in your own business to be 10 times more productive than you could have been if this business existed 3 years ago. You don't need a team anymore. Use AI. It's your biggest weapon as an independent creator. The flip side of that coin, though, is careful what job you go into, because is it going to be around 3 years from now? You know, even if you're creating a self-employed job, is that going to be needed 3 years from now? Is AI going to take it over? Since you're following your dream here, you're probably doing something self-employed. But even so, we got to make sure it's something that is a creative skill, some kind of community builder, something that a human being has to will it'll be such an advantage that a human being is involved in it a few years down the road. I'm telling you, it's really important. So you got to think about that. And honestly, that pretty much wraps it up. So wherever you are in life, don't have to be 25, but if you're getting started on your dream or you're ready to finally get started on your dream, I think that info will be very helpful. That is some things that I wish I knew back then. Whether or not I listened to them, I'm sure some of that would have sunk in and it would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of headache. A couple of other things before we wrap up here. I'm going to start talking more about some topical things that are going on in the world. If you're trying to build this kind of lifestyle for yourself, things you need to know. A couple of interesting things that I found this week. Crypto is the big one. I think in 2025, here we are. The exact day, count it, is March 27th, 2025. The best, if you're looking for passive income, the best investment opportunity right now, this year in particular, is crypto. Okay. Uh, this is not financial advice. I am just relaying what I'm doing. Do not come to me if none of this works out well. This is just me talking about anecdotes of my own life. Take it. You talk to an investment advisor if you want. Okay. Blah blah blah. So I think Bitcoin is going to massively increase, and as of today, March 27th, to USD is $87,000. All right. Bitcoin's taking a beating this past month, but if you've been following it, this was expected. This is part of the pattern. Okay. The best time to buy Bitcoin in 2025 would have been 5 days ago. The second best time is now. It is at 87. It was way higher than that when I bought a bunch of it back in November of last year, but it has a lot of upside to go this year. How much upside? I mean, we're talking, I don't mean like 20% gains. I mean like multiples of gains in the next year is what it could do. So don't forget that. If you have money to invest, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'll say there. Easiest way, Bitcoin. All right, there's other cryptocurrencies out there. I don't know as much about them. This Bitcoin is the one that is the quote safest, in my opinion. So, and then if you're gonna, especially if you're looking to buy and hold for like the next 12 months, you don't have to pay short-term capital gains. And going even further out to, there might be kind of a dip after that. We might go into a little bit of a downturn in the Bitcoin cycle, but that's why this year I think will be really good. And then over the course of the next 5 years, I mean, my God, if you can just put that money, invest it, leave it, I think it's a great option. So Bitcoin, we're techno-futurists, right? So that's a great option. Second thing I wanted to mention briefly, because I've heard a lot about this lately, getting a second citizenship. That's something that I can't do currently, but I totally would if I had the means. There are people out there who help you expedite that process in whatever country you're looking for, some consultants and things. But getting a second state of citizenship would be really good, because I am overall very optimistic. And I think in all likelihood, things are going to work out fine. Okay. Give or take. There's be some little ups and downs, but it's a great insurance policy to have a citizenship in another country. Other countries do citizenship by investment or permanent residency by investment, and then you later become a citizen. There are ways to do it. And you always have that option to leave. If shit goes down for whatever reason in your own personal life or on a bigger scale in, your country, you're probably in the US, something disruptive could happen here. I don't expect it, but it's a great peace of mind to be like, I could peace out to Panama. I could peace out to Bolivia. What's the one? Paraguay. is one that I've been hearing about lately, or whatever other country. I'm not a consultant on all this stuff, but having that is a really good option. And I will totally do that at some point in my life if I can. The easier, smaller steps that you can do now in order to diversify yourself a little bit against this kind of risk is opening a bank account in another country. Now, I probably wouldn't open one in Canada, but maybe I would open one in Europe. Got to do some research on what country. But having some money in a foreign currency in a foreign bank account, is important, because if your bank accounts ever got shut down for some reason, you'd have that. You could go to another country and have access to some assets there, gold, things like that. So just some things that I've been listening about in my own podcast listening that's interesting. Keep that in the back of your head. And if you have the means, I don't know, reach out to me. I'll connect you with who I've been hearing talk about this stuff. And maybe you can get your little plan B insurance plan there on citizenship. And I will leave you with this. If you want help, my one little call to action. If you want help building your dream lifestyle, exiting the rat race, becoming self-employed, building up an audience online, and using the podcast first to generate more income. So any of those things, all right, reach out to me. I can help. I can steer you in the right direction, or I can help you directly. So if any of that is speaking to you, building that dream lifestyle, building up an online audience, podcast, whatever, or using the podcast universe to generate more income, even if you don't have a show yet, reach out to me. I'll put a link in the show notes. You can book a call with me. Okay, I have been your host, Brandon Beard. So glad to have you here in this spring of 2025. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.